With Nintendo's next console on the horizon, and with the supposed announcement at the February Nintendo Direct, and with Nintendo delisting certain games, I have thought that maybe this is the time we get Nintendo Selects to return. If you don't know what Nintendo Selects is, it's pretty much the same thing as like the PlayStation Essentials. It's Nintendo will pick certain titles and they go for like $20. Usually, sometimes this is near the end of a console's life cycle. They pick some of the well, it's usually some of the top games of that console, and they just slice the price there. They go for like $20, and it's a nice way for people to pick up some games that maybe they didn't get originally, that were too expensive because games for the Switch are like $70. So slicing that price so it goes down to 20, that could help sales. That will help a lot of people get games that maybe they wanted to get but didn't have the money to. It's a nice gaming for budget as well. When you're gaming with a budget to get some of these titles, and also they'll usually have like a cool banner on it on the case. So you get like a special version of it in a way. So I thought that for this video I would discuss what I think will be the Nintendo Selects games for the Switch. So without further ado, let's go on. The first one I have here is one that is not a total surprise. It is Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey was one of like the first big games for the Switch. So, and really it has been like the big Mario game for a while. I mean, we've had stuff like Mario Wonder, but that's a 2D kind of affair, and then we have stuff like the re-release of 3D World with the inclusion of Bowser's Fury, which went down very well. But that was a bit more of a re-release with like an added expansion pack on it, right? Odyssey was that first big Mario game on the Switch, and it was just praised. Everyone loved it. When you got a Switch, one of the first games you got was Super Mario Odyssey. When the Switch came out, it was like one of the games that everyone's like, okay, you got a Switch? All right, you got to get Mario Kart, you got to get Smash, you got to get Odyssey. And I feel like it would be a no-brainer for Nintendo to finally put this game on sale for a much cheaper price, so that way people who maybe are new to Nintendo Switch and all that, or maybe people who just didn't end up getting it, maybe people who didn't get a Switch right off the bat and they had to wait a bit and they wanted to get Odyssey, but it's $70 and it's like, oh, that's a bit much. Now is the time for you to finally get this game and enjoy the new offering of Mario. Staying with Mario, we have Super Mario Maker 2. Super Mario Maker 1 was an insanely popular game. I mean, you're basically making... You can make your own Mario level, you can play it with friends or by yourself, and then you could play other people's custom-made levels. That's a genius idea, and it went down well. And with like the Wii U touchpad, it was very easy to create levels, and it was a no-brainer that for Nintendo Switch, they made a second one for people to play. So I feel like because Super Mario Maker 1 was so successful, and Mario Maker 2 added on some stuff to it, I feel like Super Mario Maker 2 is a nice choice for a Nintendo Select. And let's just finish up the Mario stuff here. Mario Party Superstars. This is the big Mario Party of this console. We've had Super Mario Party, but that kind of came and went. But Mario Party Superstars, even to this day, you still see people making videos on it, because it is just the Mario Party game for this console, this run, and I'm not super into the Mario Party genre of the Mario games, but from what I hear from a lot of people who are, this is like a return to form. Like it's Mario Party has been hit or miss a lot lately, and this is like the return to what people wanted. So I'm very happy in that aspect. And I love watching videos of people playing Mario Party. It is a ton of fun. It is essentially just a board game. You know, that's what Mario Party is. It's just a virtual board game, and it's a great party game for you to play with multiple people. And I think it's a no-brainer to put this game on as a Nintendo Selects, because this is a game that the whole family can play. You know, it's fun playing with your family. It's also fun to play online with your friends. So moving on, we're going to move on from the Mario part. We got 3 Mario games on here, but we're going to move on to some other games. We have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is a no-brainer to me. I was in between putting Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, but I've decided to go with Breath of the Wild because it is the older offering of the two, and Tears of the Kingdom, like, it just came out last year, and it doesn't really make sense to immediately now put that on sale now, even though it did, you know, like, it sold a bunch, won a bunch of awards, and it was just praised left, right, and center. I don't think it makes sense, like, a year later to just put that on sale. Breath of the Wild, on the other hand, was the port over. Breath of the Wild initially came out in Wii U, and then when the Switch came out, instead of making a new Legend of Zelda game, they just went, well, just port it over, and that was a smart decision. And Breath of the Wild got a bit of a new life in that way with coming over to the Switch, because it was that Zelda game. It was the Zelda game you got at launch, right, for the Switch. So it got a bit of a new life breathed into it, and then the DLC came out to expand upon it. So I feel like Breath of the Wild is the perfect choice to pick to go as Nintendo Selects. And again, like, people who maybe they want to play Breath of the Wild but just never got around to getting it because of the price, they can get it and then hopefully play Breath of the Wild and like it so much they want to go get Tears of the Kingdom. Next up, we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is the big Kirby game of the Nintendo Switch era. We had Kirby Star Allies. That game didn't really have a bang, not as much as Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is just, people are like, this is the Kirby game. This is the Kirby game of the Nintendo Switch era. Brought Kirby back into the spotlight from, I mean, not to say Kirby was ever gone from the spotlight, but this is the game that's like, okay, now it's Kirby's time to shine. He gets a great game, which, you know, what more can I say about the Forgotten Land? It is just a bundle of fun. Everyone loves Kirby, so it makes sense for me to put Kirby in the Forgotten Land as a Nintendo Selects title. The next one I have here is Splatoon 3. Now, I am not a fan of Splatoon. I don't like it, but I can recognize it is popular. You know, it is a popular franchise of games for Nintendo. So I feel like putting Splatoon 3 as a Nintendo Selects title makes sense, you know? Everyone, even if you don't really know Splatoon, like, you never played it, you kind of know of it. So just that recognition alone, I think, makes sense to make this game a Nintendo Selects. And I believe people still play Splatoon 3. I haven't heard anything about it declining it or anything, so yeah, pick Splatoon 3. You know, it makes sense. It is a valuable franchise for Nintendo, so make it easier for more people to access that franchise. Next up, we have this one. Here is something I wouldn't do, but I feel like this is more something I think Nintendo would do, and that is Nintendo Switch Sports. I have looked over previous Nintendo Selects titles, and I feel like this is this title that Nintendo, like, they wanted Nintendo Switch Sports to succeed, and it didn't really, I don't think it went the way they wanted it to. So I feel like by them putting it as a Nintendo Selects, people will be like, hey, it's on sale. Why not pick it up? And that might shift more units for Nintendo Switch Sports, and more people will be willing to give it a try because, hey, it's a Nintendo Selects. It's $20, guys. It's not the freaking, you know, bank-breaking like 65 or 70 that it would have been. I feel like that's something Nintendo would do to try and move more units for Nintendo Switch Sports and get more people to have it in their homes. Okay, personally, wouldn't do it, but I think this is something Nintendo would do. And then finally on here, this is on here because I'm a massive fan of the franchise. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This game is one of the ones that was delisted by Nintendo. So was Odyssey as well. Odyssey also one of the ones that was delisted. But I feel like putting these games now out as Nintendo Selects, it makes it kind of like a last chance type of thing, right? Like they've already told retailers, we're not going to restock you for Xenoblade 2 anymore. But having it as a Nintendo Selects is kind of that now, oh, this is your last chance, people. You know, now the game's $20. It's real cheap to get now. Xenoblade 2 was one of the first big games for Nintendo Switch. And it had been a while since we'd seen anything from Xenoblade. With Xenoblade Chronicles 1 being out on the Wii. And then we had Xenoblade X, of course, for the Wii U, but that didn't really have the big impact that Xenoblade 1 did. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out, and yes, while there were bugs at launch and the English dubbing was not the best at the beginning, when you power through, the voice acting gets a lot better. They patch it so that way their voices actually match the movement. And Xenoblade 2 is just a phenomenal game. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so it is a bit more of a personal choice as well for me to see Xenoblade Chronicles picked as a Nintendo Selects title. So that's it. Those are the titles I believe will be Nintendo Selects in the future. If you have an idea of what you think could be a Nintendo Select title, let me know in the comments down below. And if you agree with my list, tell me why. If you don't, also tell me why. Let me know. I want to get a bit of a discussion going. So that's going to do it. And I will see you all in the next one.